Tonight, we begin our broadcast in East Africa, where the U.S. military says it conducted 2 airstrikes in southern Somalia this week, killing 4 Al-Qaeda-linked al Shabaab militants involved in attacks on Somali government troops. A U.S. military spokeswoman says the latest strikes took place on Monday in Lower Shabelle region. Now, the U.S. military has in the past used drones to target al Shabaab's senior leaders. The Pentagon says it carried out a strike in late May against Abdullahi Haji Daoud, one of al Shabaab's senior military planners, who also served as a principal coordinator of attacks in Somalia, Kenya and Uganda. Now, for more details on this week's airstrikes in Somalia, VOA Scholar joins me live via Skype from the Pentagon. Carla, first, we know that this airstrike took place on Monday. Do you have any idea why we're just learning about it?
Well, the Pentagon is very slow, especially when it comes to strikes in Somalia, to get the information out because of 2 major reasons. First, they're only there in support of the Amazon troops and the Somali troops, so they like to have them to take the lead on this. And then secondly, they like to verify and make sure that they are announcing the right target strikes and confirming who was killed and who wasn't, if possible.
Now, we've mentioned briefly, but what more can you tell us about past similar strikes?
Well, the United States they have a clause now with the military where they have a self-defense clause. This means not only when U.S. forces come under attack in Somalia, but also when their allies, their Amazon allies, their Somali allies come under attack, they have the ability to strike at al Shabaab. This has come in very handy. Oftentimes, I was talking to a spokesperson from AFRICOM just today, and he said to stress that this does not necessarily mean that the U.S. forces were under attack in this particular instance, but the United States did have some intelligence sharing that they had pushed along. Something didn't seem quite right. They noticed some fighters were on their way to attack some Somali fighters, and they decided to conduct the strike. And
we know that it's a policy currently not to have U.S. forces on the ground. But now many people may question, is there any evidence whatsoever that these strikes have been effective?
Well, I think that if you look at the strike that you had mentioned, targeting that particular leader and then also targeting other leaders going back several years, that has made a difference with reducing the al Shabaab organization. And these recent strikes, there was one earlier this year that killed about 150 al Shabaab fighters when they attacked a camp. They saw the opportunity, they saw these al Shabaab members gathering, and they decided to take the strike. That doesn't always happen because of these strikes. The people in al Shabaab don't meet and don't congregate the way that they used to. So they've had to spread their numbers out to try to prevent these strikes. So I think that in itself is a good reason and a good source of how these strikes are being effective and how they can be used in the future.
And I know we don't have a lot of information about this, but the lack of information that we always wish we had, is it to do with the fact that the U.S. doesn't want to make this look like it is their war? This is like the war of those countries. They're just helping, right?
Absolutely. The United States has a very small footprint in Africa. They just recently got the authorization to help out with airstrikes in Libya. They have 1 base in Djibouti, and then there are some small forces, some places, there are some in Cameroon, there are some in Somalia, but the United States wants to make it clear that when it comes to Africa, they're always in support. They're not trying to come in and try to take over or do anything that couldn't help the governments involved. But on the same vein, counterterrorism is very important to the United States. So anything that the United States can do to stop any terrorists from attacking inside of Africa or outside of Africa, especially the United States, they want to be there to help.
Carla, brilliant. Thank you very much.